Hey guys, welcome back to the Time Bomb channel, of course, with myself, the Bombardier. And I wanted to do something slightly different today in that I wanted to sort of look back at a watch that I've been wearing for just over a year now. As I reckon in that time, I've truly gotten to know the watch, all of its strengths and foibles. It's one of my absolute favourites, is the HELM KHURABURI. It's a true box ticker for me, ticking virtually all of my boxes with top marks. But again, as I say, I just sort of felt that after a year now, I mean, I'm conscious of the fact that a lot of the watch reviews that I've been doing, you know, sort of you have them for a couple of days and you do a review, doesn't necessarily give you the chance to fully get to know the watch. But I think with the Buri, that's absolutely not the case at all. So hopefully I've got some good feedback for you. But before we start to converse with Pandora, I just want to run through the specs again on this watch, just in case it's a new one for you. So the Buris all come in 316L stainless steel. We're looking at 42 mils across. If we include, sorry, catch the light. So if we include the rather large crown down at the bottom here, you know, that's going to extend to 45 mils across. But because of the position down here at the 4 o'clock, I don't think it impacts as much as it would do, making it much more manageable than if it was at 3 o'clock. The bezel is then 43 mils because you do get quite a significant overhang on each side, allowing for you know, much better operation maneuverability. It sits on then 49 mil length case wise, and it's 16 mils in depth, and the lugs then are 22 mils. The crown, as I mentioned before, is quite big. It's a chunky 8 mils. It's both signed and then screw down. As this is the no-date version, ticking away inside, we've got the NH38, both hacking, hand winding, etc. Up top, we've got a very nice double dome AR coated sapphire. Let me just see if I can get a good shot of that dome up the top. As I say, beautiful, stunning. All right, the bracelet then is the HELM owned version, and again, as I mentioned before, so it's 22 mils, but then it slims down to 20 at the clasp. These watches are quite heavy, sized up for my 7¼ inch wrist. This one weighs in at just over 185 grams. So yes, it's an absolute spec demon and an absolute bargain to boot. So let's get back to those boxes that I typically subconsciously judge watches by, specifically watches like this, and because I wanted to use those as, you know, providing, you know, some of the feedback. So box number one for me is the name. So it's got to have a cool name, nickname, and so yes, this particular watch is then named after a spot in Thailand that looks a little bit like this, and it has some of the best diving in the region. So yeah, box ticked. Box two. Now this is possibly one of the weak areas, because for me, box two is colourway and colour palette. And as you can see here, that the orange around the dial has literally just been painted over the black. And clearly they've not used a primer, because that black is then really sort of tinting the off colour orange that you can see here. So it doesn't match the orange on the hour hand, the seconds hand, and then also on the typeface on the dial. Yes, I'm that OCD, so I'm going to say that box hasn't been ticked. Whether that's as impacted, for example, on the blue dial, I'm not sure, because I don't own one. Brand history is box number 3. So you could say, yeah, these guys didn't have a history, so they were new guys on the block, so they don't have any box history, so it shouldn't be ticked. But I'm going to disagree with myself there, is because I think in the short time that they've been out, they've built a hugely solid brand. These things sell out so quickly, and I think that clearly shows that they've established their brand, and they've done really rather well doing it. Box number 4, personally I prefer automatics or solar quartz. So again, this is the Seiko NH38 ticking away inside perfectly, box ticked. Box 5 is Lume. It's great. That blue, sweet blue light is popping away like a poppy thing. So yeah, box ticked. Box number 6 is then water resistance. So the water resistance on this is 300 meters, indicating, you know, you got unlimited usage, and added to that, it's also ISO compliant. Box ticked. Box number 7 is the bezel. Yeah, I'm a little bit, I was going to say something beginning with A then. I'm a bit OCD about bezels. I mean, I spend a lot of time thinking about them and playing with them. So the bezel on here is super, super solid. It's very usable, easy to manipulate, and it aligns up perfectly, and there's no back play at all. Let's just have a quick listen while I'm obsessing. Solid, absolutely solid, no issues at all, and as I say, lines up perfectly, and there's zero movement in that. Yeah, excellent, top marks. What's box number 8? So box number 8 then is going to be case back design. So we just scoot it around here. So we've then got the HELM crosshairs, deep cut into the back here. So yeah, absolutely, it's really, really nice. Very well executed, and as I say, those crosshairs do look very, very nice. Box number 9. Because I'm a bit of an awkward customer, I demand all of the boxes need to produce a watch that comes in under £300. These cost $300 US plus shipping. That calculates today at around £245, box ticked. Box number 10 is quality control. So quality control, so there's me with my OCD, looking for bits and pieces that I can find and go, meh, that's not quite right. This thing is super, super solid, and over the year it has stood up very, very well. Yes, there are some dings around on the watch, but I think that's to be expected, because yeah, I don't baby this watch. I wear it as it's supposed to be worn, as something robust and solid. There are some edges though on the watch, and as you run your fingers over various edges, you can feel, they're not specifically sharp, but they are a little bit rough in some places. Now, I'm comparing it to say something which is possibly a little unfair to like the MM200. This one is smoothly finished, and it's highly refined. But then, is it in the same category? I mean, I don't feel that this is a robust tool dive watch. This one, I feel, is a robust tool dive watch, so I don't expect it, to be as smooth as a smooth thing. It's not necessarily what I'm looking for in this. And added to that, I think those, sort of like that roughness around here works perfectly. If the watch is wet or you're wearing gloves, it gives you a bit of additional purchase. I wouldn't be wearing this, out in the wet. It's just too posh. All right. So yes, it's kind of difficult not to wax too lyrical about this for me, as it is an unabashed dive monster. That for that price, I mean, it just beats so many other watches in its category. I think hands down. Yes, as I said, there are a couple of niggles. The orange colourway, the height of the watch, and the weight of the watch mean it's going to be, not necessarily suitable for everybody. I don't think specifically it's very usable as a desk diver. And lastly, the lack of availability for many is deeply frustrating. But they have introduced a new wait list in order for you to facilitate those purchases for people, etc. But you still have to wait. I'm on the wait list for one of their watches. I've been on it for a couple of months, and last communication from them is that I don't think I'm going to be getting a watch for another couple of months. But I'm going to stick on the wait list because I think it's clearly worth it, because what you get at the end is absolutely worth it without a shadow of a doubt. But yes, I think you could easily argue that they need to increase their production team in order to be able to meet demand. If they're looking for staff, I'm right here. I don't know what you need me to do, but I'll jump in and lend a hand without reservation. So, after the year wearing this thing, one of the things that surprised me specifically is that I wear it more on the steel strap than I do on the rubber, which is not normally the case for me. But that's primarily because it's super comfortable. The weight doesn't bother me at all. I actually really like it. But if you do have a 6-inch wrist, yes, you're going to feel this, and it might put you off. Alright guys, so that's my year on wrist review for this beauty. If you can get on the wait list, as I mentioned before, I really don't think you'll be disappointed at all. And if you do decide you want to sell it on, they're selling for almost $500 to $600 on Fleabay. So it's a win-win. Alright, thanks guys for your view and for your time. Appreciate your comments, and of course until next time, this is your host, the Bombardier, signing off. Cheers.